Khabib Nurmagomedov officially retires from the sport of MMA.
What's his middle name? Is it Usman or something like that?
Manap.
That's his dad's name.
I don't know.
Rest in peace. Oh my
Rest
god.
in peace, Manap.
Yeah. He officially retires. So, him in the UFC with this whole situation,
weird.
so very, very strange.
Sus.
I think they were both playing this game of like who would give in first to the other person's like request. Like the UFC wanted him to fight again, right? But not at like the high price tag, right? And at the same time, Khabib wanted to fight, but not these guys that they were proposing, and for the dollar amount. He wanted GSP, and it's clear that he wanted GSP, but the UFC was not willing to give up.
I don't think, honestly, man, like if you look at him right now, I don't think like, he even wanted GSP.
He wanted GSP.
I just think like he wants to be retired and just leave.
No, he wanted GSP. At one point, he wanted GSP. Around that Justin Gaethje time.
At what weight?
He wanted GSP. The weight is not
catch weight.
yeah. We have a whole video about that.
Whole series on that, bro.
So goddamn movie. So I don't think this situation was like the handled the best. Like with the MMA, it's kind of strange, right? It's not. MMA is not a team sport, similar to like the NBA or something like that. The fighter is the end all be all for that fighter's career.
It's a stable sport,
right?
Stable, like you have your own team.
Sure, yeah, okay.
Like that, right?
Yeah. So as opposed to say like the NBA, right? There's the Los Angeles Lakers, right?
Garbage team.
Give you an example. Kyle Kuzma, for example, or LeBron James.
Terrible.
Right? Like he has somebody to answer to, right? That's above him. So he has somebody that pays his paychecks. So he's part of a team. So he has to answer to the team's protocols, their training, their dress code, all these different things where he has to abide by those rules. As well, the league requires official retirement papers. For example, if you want to retire, you have to officially sign paper that says, "I'm retired, I'm out." Right? That tells them this.
Yeah, but can you come back or no?
Fighting as well. Yeah, of course you can come back. Right. Fighting. Wait, NBA or
NBA?
Yeah, I think you can come back, but it's a longer process. Fighting, you can fight for much longer than what you can do these other professional sports at. Like LeBron James can't be 42 years old, for example, and just come in and then demand this high dollar amount, right? He has to be in better shape. He needs to be like physically able to play the sport of basketball, as opposed to MMA, for example. You have guys like Royce Gracie who fought like a couple years ago, right? That guy's in his 40s, right? And he's still fighting. Why? Because he doesn't really have anybody to answer to, right?
I mean, there's also like your license, right? Like to fight, so you have to
but
have that renewed. And
passing those things is not very difficult. We've seen it happen. A lot of times, where it comes down to is who your opponent is.
Yeah.
Is your opponent clearly more experienced than you and it's going to like thrash you, like to the point where you're going to be in danger, right? If not, then go ahead.
Shout out Overeem.
What? Why Overeem? Just because,
yeah.
Horse meat.
So, and Sanchez.
Diego Sanchez. So that's the difference between these other professional sports, right? You have to be there's minimum requirements that you have to meet, as opposed to the UFC and MMA. The requirements are not the same, right? It's a prize fighting sport where you are independently like responsible for everything that you do. So Khabib, yes, he's retired. Does he not come back? I don't say like any fighter could come back. Like goddamn Chuck Liddell could come back.
But they're not
tomorrow.
Independent contractors, right?
He did fight recently, right?
Who?
Chuck Liddell. Like
Maybe,
a couple
I
years
don't know.
ago. Yeah. Against Tito, right? In Bellator.
But they're not independent contractors, right? Like
who?
These fighters or no?
They're independent contractors. Yeah. They sign contracts to with the UFC, and they're not employees. They're contractors. Mm-hmm. So this is a little bit different. So Khabib, I believe, and we've talked about this before, right? Where we talked about retirement, all that kind of stuff. Yes, he's retired in the sense that he's not going to fight right now, right? He doesn't have any fight lined up. He's not training for a fight, so on and so forth.
He wants Mayweather, right?
But him, that's Islam Makhachev. So if you were to ask me, does this 100% say he's never fighting again? No, it doesn't. He could be 38 years old and be like, you know what? I'm coming back for a fight.
I want the money fight.
And that fight will probably do huge numbers. So for now, yes, he's retired in the sense that the lightweight title and the picture and the rankings, he's not part of that right now. So you can remove him from that equation.
But he's an honorable man, you know. He said himself that, you know, I'm not gonna do this again because like he's putting like my mom into into worry and stuff, right?
Time changes things, right? Everything that changes with time, right? There's no guarantee that he's going to fight, and there's no guarantee that he's not going to fight.
If he fights, man, I keep saying it's gonna be Conor again. That's the only fight that's gonna bring top dollar.
So there's another discussion that went on where GSP brought up. He's like, it was about Kamaru Usman. He was like, it was not really about Khabib, but it was just the point I wanted to bring up. So he was talking about Kamaru Usman and Kamaru Usman being talked as the greatest welterweight ever. And he brought up a point. He's like, listen, like I get it. The athletes of today are always going to be better than athletes than before. He's like, that doesn't necessarily mean that if we were to fight each other, he beats me. But the point that he's trying to say is that there's always going to be a progression in the sport where there's going to be better people.
No one's bigger than the sport.
Yeah. So the other point that he brought up that went with that was when he was fighting for in the welterweight division and defending his title and all that kind of stuff, he was facing people multiple times, right? There's the sirens outside. Is that to my house? Okay, this guy's gone. So so he's faced multiple people. Our friend Mohammed. So he's faced multiple guys multiple times. He faced Matt Hughes 3 times. He faced Josh Koscheck 2 times. He faced BJ Penn 2 or 3 times. He's faced a lot of these guys many times, and that's what added to his legacy, right? He was able to not only beat these guys, but give them time to progress and still beat them again, just to prove like, okay, on that night I was the winner, but as well on this night I was the winner as well. To cement like, okay, there's less discussion on whether or not who is the better martial artist. In Khabib's scenario, yes, you could probably say he's better martial artist than Conor and Dustin and Justin Gaethje, but there's still room for discussion where you say, okay, yes, you beat them once, but did you beat them multiple times, right? Yeah, it's kind of different in GSP and Khabib situations, because Khabib really dominated them in one aspect, and he's so dominant in that aspect, it kind of leaves you like, okay, how I can't see these other guys beating him. But in GSP was more of a complete game, right? He would beat you with his jab, with his takedowns, with his pressure. It was
Superman jab.
Yeah, his was more complete, and I see why people think like, okay, what is left for Khabib to do, right? He's already beat these guys. If they go into the same matchup again, he's going to do exactly the same thing. But at the same time, you have to, in order to develop that legacy, right? I need to see. He doesn't have to answer to me, but we would like to see him beat guys multiple times, not just one and dones. And the question that he asked is like, what's left to do?
Conor.
Well, like I get like you beat them, but beat them again. Like all these greats face guys multiple times. People trash on Tito Ortiz, right? But Tito Ortiz faced Chuck Liddell many times, right? Yep. People trash on guys like Stipe Miocic, and he beat DC twice, right? He didn't have to face DC again, right? He already beat him, right? He fought him 3 times. So, like John Jones, he faced Alexander Gustafsson twice, and he faced DC twice.
You know, like now that you say it though, it is weird because with Khabib, he's never had that like true rivalry.
Yeah, the closest thing is Conor,
it's Conor,
but we haven't really seen anything beyond second fight, which I get what he means. Like, he's done it, but in order to I think as time goes on, the idea of Khabib being number one overall will kind of go away. Yeah. Because we'll be like, yes, but he beat everybody. But how long did he do that? He defended the title 3 times. Yeah. But before then, he faced Ali Quinta. He faced Michael Johnson. He faced RDA. Edson Barbosa, RDA, right? Like, those guys are really good. But at the top level for the title, you only did 3 times. Yeah. So I think give it some time, and we'll see Khabib slowly maybe transition back into the octagon.
He's still training, right? So
yeah, he that's just his life. He's going to be training until he's blue in the face. Blue in the lips.
Blue lips.